So Caitlin Clark yesterday was arguing with referees, and as expected, yeah, they're trying to get her banned. They're trying to get Caitlin Clark suspended. It is genuinely trying to get her suspended.
Imagine a phenomenon so powerful, it single-handedly alters the trajectory of an entire professional sports league. Picture a rookie athlete whose talent and charisma ignite a firestorm of fan interest, breaking viewership records and turning sleepy arenas into vibrant hubs of excitement. Now, envision that same athlete facing relentless criticism, demands for suspension, and a baffling level of scrutiny for actions that are commonplace among her peers. This isn't a fictional underdog story. This is the reality of Caitlin Clark in the WNBA, a situation fraught with double standards, hidden agendas, and a palpable sense of unease surrounding her unprecedented impact. The controversy surrounding Clark's interactions with referees, while visibly injured, serves as a glaring example of the bizarre narrative that has taken hold. To suggest that a player, particularly the face of her team, should be silenced and potentially banned for simply engaging with officials, especially when nursing an injury, is not just unreasonable. It's a stark departure from the accepted norms of professional sports, where passionate dialogue between players and referees is a routine occurrence. The outcry from some corners of the fanbase demanding her suspension feels less like a principled stance on sportsmanship and more like a manifestation of deeper anxieties about the shifting landscape of the WNBA.
And at the end of the half, the Fever 40.
That was not underneath the basket. That was hard to see. The back-to-back. She had her back to her. It was in the open area. At least two of the refs, if not three of them, should have seen that foul. Caitlin pointed to it. They still didn't blow their whistle.
Let's clarify this. Caitlin Clark, injured and hobbling on one leg.
The fervor with which rival fans have seized upon any perceived misstep by Caitlin Clark reveals a complex web of emotions. Is it pure, unadulterated rivalry, or is there an undercurrent of something more? Perhaps the ease with which Clark has captured the nation's attention has stirred a sense of jealousy, a feeling that the spotlight has shifted too quickly, too dramatically. The demand for her suspension, seemingly disproportionate to the offense of talking to referees, could be interpreted as an attempt to halt her momentum, to dim the brightness of a star whose ascent threatens the established hierarchy. This isn't just about basketball, it's about the narratives we construct around success and the often uncomfortable reactions to those who disrupt the status quo. The very passion that fans typically celebrate in their own star players is suddenly deemed unacceptable, even punishable, when displayed by Caitlin Clark.
They're trying to get her suspended. And by the way, this is coming from the same people that try to get her kicked out of the league. So, there is a tweet going semi-viral right now. And by the way, there's a lot more. There is a lot more tweets in this. This is just the one that I've seen. And this is just a funny thing.
Caitlin Clark has undeniably become the central figure in the WNBA narrative. Whether you're a diehard fan or a casual observer, her name dominates conversations, her games draw record audiences, and her impact on ticket sales and merchandise is undeniable. Yet this very prominence seems to have made her a target. Every action, both on and off the court, is dissected with an intensity rarely seen. The very qualities that have propelled her to stardom, her competitiveness, her vocal leadership, her unwavering confidence, are now being weaponized against her. The irony is palpable. The league's newfound visibility is largely due to Clark, yet a segment of the basketball community seems determined to undermine her. This paradoxical situation raises serious questions about the WNBA's ability to embrace and nurture a talent that has the potential to elevate the entire league.
2 weeks, but more importantly, do you guys love the WNBA? Or do you just love Caitlin Clark? We're going to take a deep dive on that because when she got hurt, I was like, well, that's part of sports. She's an athlete. She's going to get hurt. Oh, but the sky started to fall when Caitlin Clark got hurt.
Consider the countless instances throughout basketball history where legendary players have passionately argued calls, sometimes even crossing the line of decorum, without facing widespread calls for suspension. Figures like LeBron James, known for his intense engagement with officials, or Diana Taurasi, whose fiery competitiveness often extended to lengthy discussions with referees, were celebrated for their passion and leadership. The stark contrast in the reaction to Caitlin Clark's similar and arguably less confrontational behavior highlights a glaring double standard. Why is it that her interactions are immediately framed as problematic, warranting punishment, while comparable actions from established stars are often viewed as part of their competitive spirit? This disparity suggests a bias, a predisposition to view Clark's actions through a more critical lens.
Person is literally, so in the last 10 days, has called for Caitlin Clark to be investigated for fraud, tagging the WNBA. And again, do you want to know what the funniest thing about all of this is? Is that I would think nothing of this if it wasn't for the fact that WNBA have literally opened an investigation based on Twitter. Well, almost certainly based on Twitter.
The fact that the WNBA appears to be influenced by social media outcry against Caitlin Clark is deeply concerning. The notion of launching investigations, or even subtly shaping officiating, based on the volatile opinions of Twitter users, sets a dangerous precedent. Professional sports leagues should be guided by established rules and objective assessments, not the fleeting emotions of online discourse. This responsiveness to social media pressure, particularly when directed at a player who is significantly boosting the league's profile, suggests a lack of institutional fortitude and a susceptibility to narratives that may be driven by bias rather than genuine concerns about the integrity of the game. It creates an environment where a player can be unfairly targeted and potentially punished based on the whims of the internet.
Caitlin Clark is driving the WNBA insane. It's to the point that she may need to step away from the WNBA, have a billionaire come in that has the money to prove a point, and say, Caitlin, I'll pay you $50 million just to see if the WNBA can make it without you. Let's go create a complete different league and expose the hell out of the WNBA.
It's like the entire league has become a reality show called Who Wants to Humble Caitlin Clark?
The silence emanating from the WNBA league office amidst the ongoing controversy surrounding Caitlin Clark is deafening and, frankly, bewildering. In any other professional sport, a player generating this level of buzz and significantly increasing league revenue would be fiercely protected and supported by the governing body. The WNBA's apparent hands-off approach sends a clear, albeit unsettling, message. Clark is on her own. This lack of public support not only leaves Clark vulnerable to continued unfair treatment, but also signals a missed opportunity for the league to capitalize on her popularity and shape a positive narrative around her impact. Their silence could be interpreted as either a lack of understanding of her value or, more worryingly, a tacit acceptance of the negative attention she is receiving.
Is it okay to come on the floor and argue the ref? I can guarantee you the commissioner will think nothing is wrong since it's Clark. And in the last week, that same person has tweeted this. And she was the original person that made the viral tweet. That made the viral tweet with 1.7 million views, saying you need to take a closer look at why Clark was pressuring her coach to be let back in the game when they were up over 20 points. It resulted in Dave Portnoy placing a bet. It resulted from
The bar set for Caitlin Clark, both as a player and as a public figure, appears impossibly high. She is expected to not only perform at an elite level every single night, but also to conduct herself with unwavering grace and humility, even in the face of blatant unfairness. Any display of emotion, any attempt to advocate for herself or her team, is immediately scrutinized and often framed as arrogance or entitlement. Meanwhile, other players in the league can engage in more aggressive on-court behavior or express themselves with less restraint without eliciting the same level of condemnation. This stark contrast underscores a troubling bias, a tendency to demand a level of perfection from Clark that is not expected of her peers. It's as if she's being held accountable not just for her actions, but for the very attention she attracts.
But what has happened since Caitlin Clark has gotten hurt? Now, it's pretty tough to talk about the viewership because she just got hurt, so the TV ratings haven't come all the way in. But there are some indicators out there, such as there were ticket prices for the next Fever versus Sky matchup. And guess what? They dropped by 71% right after the news of her injury. And then they're talking about the growth of the WNBA, how it's supposed to be unprecedented this year. But now that will come to a halt as well just because of a 2-week injury to Caitlin Clark. Okay. So I've been on here on record saying that it's all about Caitlin Clark for me. And every time I say that, I know the resistance, I know the forces in the headwind against me. You may feel the same way. I hate this world where you just can't say it.
The hypothetical scenario of Caitlin Clark potentially leaving the WNBA to pursue opportunities elsewhere, perhaps in a newly formed league with significant financial backing, serves as a stark reminder of her immense value. While this remains speculation, the very fact that it's being discussed highlights the potential consequences of the WNBA failing to adequately support and protect its biggest star. Losing a player of Clark's caliber would be a devastating blow to the league, likely resulting in a significant decline in viewership, sponsorship interest, and overall relevance in the sports landscape. The WNBA must recognize that its future success is intrinsically linked to the success and well-being of its marquee players, and treating them as anything less than invaluable assets is a recipe for long-term decline.
We know what she brings to the table, but people wanted to hate because why? You had a bunch of players in this league that watched this young white girl come along and take the league by storm. And they resented it because they saw the marketing prowess that she had. They ignored the fact that you got chartered flights because of this girl. They ignored the fact that ratings were going through the roof because of this girl. Instead, they resented it because they said, yo, we were doing stuff long before Caitlin Clark got here. And y'all wasn't paying attention then. But now the young white girl comes along and y'all want to sit up there and shower all of this praise and all of this attention that was earned before she ever came along. The resentment is understandable, but it's not about Caitlin Clark. It's about what she represents. My point is, grow up. Who cares? If you're Magic and Bird, that didn't stop Jordan from coming along and doing what he did.
Underneath the surface of the controversy surrounding Caitlin Clark lies a complex interplay of factors, including race, class, and the rapid shift in attention within the league. Some longtime players and fans may understandably feel a sense of resentment at the sudden elevation of a rookie, particularly one who doesn't necessarily fit the traditional mold of a WNBA star. The narrative surrounding Clark as a young white girl who has seemingly leapfrogged others in terms of media attention and endorsement deals has fueled some of the backlash. While acknowledging these historical and social complexities is important, it's crucial to move beyond resentment and recognize the unifying power of exceptional talent. Just as the NBA evolved with the emergence of new superstars who appealed to broader audiences, the WNBA stands to benefit immensely from embracing the unique appeal of Caitlin Clark and using her platform to elevate the entire league.
Can we be clear about this? If Caitlin Clark were not in the WNBA, we would not be talking about the WNBA. She is the only ticket draw in the WNBA. A large percentage of all tickets sold in the WNBA are so people can watch Caitlin Clark play basketball.
The immediate and dramatic drop in ticket sales for Indiana Fever games that Caitlin Clark is expected to miss due to injury provides irrefutable evidence of her economic significance to the WNBA. A 71% decrease is not merely a minor fluctuation. It's a seismic shift that underscores the primary driver of the current surge in fan interest. Talk of unprecedented growth for the league in this season now hangs in the balance, directly tied to the presence and performance of one player. This economic reality should serve as a stark wake-up call for the WNBA. Protecting and promoting their star players isn't just a matter of ethical responsibility, it's a fundamental business imperative. Their failure to do so risks not only alienating fans, but also jeopardizing the very growth they claim to seek.
WNBA, they're having troubles with tickets now because I think Caitlin Clark is out for what? How many weeks is she out? She's ruled out for the June 7th game. That's when she was supposed to meet up with Angel Reese again. And Chicago Sky, and there's a massive drop in ticket sales. This is after the take foul that she had on Reese and ended with a shove, and she got a flagrant foul, and they gave Reese and the other chick a foul. And I don't know, I guess she has a left quad strain, and she's gonna miss
at least 4 games, is what they're saying.
Yeah, okay. And the fourth and final of those games is the game against Sky. And so they said after her injury was announced. So check this out. The game on June 7th, the tickets were originally $86. Same seats now.
Caitlin Clark's experience in the WNBA is a microcosm of a broader societal challenge. The tendency to scrutinize and often punish assertive and successful women, particularly those who dare to occupy positions of prominence and influence. When a young woman demonstrates exceptional talent, unwavering confidence, and a refusal to dim her light, she often faces a disproportionate level of criticism and judgment. The rules seem to shift, the expectations become unreasonable, and any misstep, real or perceived, is amplified. The WNBA's handling of Caitlin Clark reflects this troubling pattern. Instead of celebrating her groundbreaking achievements and protecting her from unfair attacks, the league appears content to stand by while she is subjected to a level of scrutiny and negativity that far exceeds what her actions warrant. This inaction not only harms Clark, but also sends a discouraging message to other young women aspiring to excel in professional sports.
About this. Obviously, Caitlin Clark is a competitor and wants to play. Obviously, everyone wants to watch her play, but for me, it's about making sure we address this in a way that doesn't affect her long term.
Sounds totally reasonable. I think obviously she's instrumental to what that team does. She's very important to the league at large, as we've.
Next, Indiana Fever versus Chicago Sky game, June 7th, I believe. That's going to be on CBS as well. You think that's going to draw 2.7? I can assure you it won't. You think that's going to draw over 2 million? I can assure you that won't. Over 1 million views, 1 to 1.5 might be the ballpark for that Chicago Sky Indiana Fever game. But if it's anything under 1 million, then people turned off in record numbers. If this next Chicago Sky Indiana Fever game on CBS does anything less than 1 million, people turned off in record.
In conclusion, the controversy surrounding Caitlin Clark in the WNBA is not simply about a rookie talking to referees. It's a complex issue that exposes deep-seated biases, anxieties about change, and a fundamental failure by the league to recognize and protect its most valuable asset. The double standards she faces, the relentless criticism she endures, and the deafening silence from the league office all point to a troubling reality. The WNBA is at risk of squandering a golden opportunity by failing to unequivocally support Caitlin Clark, by allowing unfair treatment to persist, and by seemingly prioritizing the opinions of a vocal minority over the well-being of their star. The league is not only doing a disservice to Clark, but also jeopardizing its own future. It's time for the WNBA to grow a spine, to enforce its rules fairly, to celebrate its groundbreaking talent without reservation, and to finally recognize that Caitlin Clark isn't the problem. She's the unprecedented spotlight, and the league's response will ultimately determine whether they rise to meet the moment or fade back into the shadows.